To all the viewers that are watching, do me a favor, give us a like, a subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Catch and Cook Fishing the Delta Episode 3. This was an adventure, fished for hours, and came out with a beautiful outcome. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Let's get on this boat and show you a day in the life.
When I pull this up, can I leave it clipped or no? Let's leave it on the clip.
We got out on the water about 9 in the morning. The water was moving, that current was moving. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, but we was good. We ended up changing locations because the current was moving so strong. And better safe than sorry, we weren't sure if it was gonna pick up or not, so we went to a less windy area. Now, I don't always wear gloves when I'm chumming or doing fishing, but when I'm messing with anchovies, I just feel like they make my hands smell for like sometimes 2 days. So I like to glove up whenever I touch some anchovies. If I have some gloves available, I like to always keep some gloves nearby because anchovies just have a really hard smell. Does this location look familiar to you? Tag where it is in the comments. Shout out to my fishing guide, Dwight Thompson, for showing me the ropes on where he likes to fish and how he likes to fish. And we have been successful pretty much every single trip, maybe except for one we came up empty. But here we are changing locations again. We were actually getting pulled by the current to the bridge. So we needed to reset that anchor, go a little farther back, and hopefully we'll get right on top of a fishing hole. We had to move it again because we just weren't where we wanted it to be. And once we get this anchor set, we will be right where we want to be to get those catches that we need. So here we are again, taking the anchor, setting it on the right side of the boat. And now that we're set, we're going to go ahead and start this process over again. Side quest: if you are looking for a boat, Dwight Thompson, my fishing guide, is selling this exact boat you see us fishing and catching on. So read the description to get information. This was our first catch of the day. We were fishing on the water since 9 in the morning and we didn't catch this fish until about 3:20. So about 6 hours later, a 23-inch striped bass, baby. Gotta be patient in this game.
Barely got him in the lip. Just for the record. $20? Okay, all right. $23.
What I like to do right after a catch is bring them into the well and bleed them immediately. And if I have the time, I would actually prefer to gut them on the river, but I didn't have the time, so I didn't do that this time. Just caught that fish after 6 hours, so I had to take a little breather and just take that in, enjoy the day, enjoy the view. And now I'm gonna go to this backside here and just do a little maintenance work. When the current's moving like that and we were checking our fish finder, there was a lot of debris where we were at. We were getting hooked on a lot of seaweed. So as you see, that pole's bending, which is probably just from some seaweed on there or from that weight. So we're gonna reel it in and we're just gonna make sure that our shad is still on that line. Fortunately, it was still on the line for this one. So once I made that quick little check, I just brought the line up very carefully and check to see if the shad was still going to be used as good bait, which it is, and I just put it right back in the water, and we're going to start this process all over again. Only a few hours left in this trip. Now I'm going to actually cut the gills on this fish so that way it could bleed itself out and pump out all the blood. And as I was doing that, he caught a fish.
Said you need the net. Oh no, you need the pliers and the BOGO. Oh, you right there. already got you here. We'll bleed you first.
The process that I use while bleeding fish is usually to cut through the gills on both sides and let them pump out the blood. These two fish in particular were very strong. I gilled them twice. Cut both sides of their gills 2 times, and at the end of the trip, one of them was still breathing. So these were some pretty strong fish. Their meat was also really, really nice once I cut them up and filleted them and put them in the freezer stored bags. So this is how you cut the fish here. You open up the gill and you just slice all the way through it and try to cut the gills, basically try to cut them off, and the fish is still alive just a little bit, and it's going to pump all the blood out that fish, so that way when it's time to gut them, the meat won't be contaminated with the excess blood that's left in the fish. So make sure you do that on both sides. Be very careful with the knife because these fish sometimes will move and you don't want to cut yourself. This is always the worst part of fishing, is unaliving the fish. Moment of silence for my fish buds. We love you. We thank you for all that you do for the community, giving us food. But yeah, this is just something that, has to be done if you want to eat fish. So if you've never done this before, the first time is a little weird, because I'm an animal lover, but after you get used to it, fish are one of the easier animals to unalive because they really don't make any facial expressions or any sounds. They're pretty straightforward the entire process. They might flap around a little bit, but they won't scream or anything, which is a little better because it's not as sad.
Beautiful fish.
Thank you all for tuning into another episode of Catch and Cook Fish in the Delta Part 3. Go outside, y'all. Get some sun. Enjoy that air. Grow some food. Farm to fork or fish to fork. Either way, it's time to DIY, baby. Let's do it. You want to get your meat from a good resource, and that's why I go fishing, and that's why I farm. Much love, y'all. Take care. Peace.